All right. Today, this is a requested topic. I'm looking at Andromedan starseeds. So it's apparently the Andromedan Ray. Now, at first, my question was, does that mean constellation or galaxy? In a way, it's both because the Andromeda Galaxy is in the Andromeda constellation, right next to Cassiopeia, so it should be relatively easy to find. But hard to see. It's actually not that bright. But we're talking about the Andromeda Galaxy. So this is not the Milky Way galaxy. This is the next galaxy over, which is a number of thousand light years away. Now, because we're talking about an entire fucking galaxy here, there are undoubtedly a shitload of creatures and spirits that live in that galaxy. So, what we're looking at is Andromedan spirits manifested in human form on Earth. Okay. And specifically out of the whole galaxy, there's like a ray of light. So that is specifically what we're looking at here. Okay. Well, the first question is always, is it a thing? Now, as far as a yes or no, the six. So neither of these are court cards, but as far as a yes or no answer, the six is a yes. It's funny because the five would be a no. So now I'm going to assume because we're looking at the six of wands, which is success and yes or whatever, that we're going to assume currently that the answer is yes. Now, this so then we're looking at what happens with this energy on earth, or what is the experience meant to be like, or whatever. And with a six of wands over the top of a five of pentacles, the five of pentacles shows a distinct feeling of like detachment and homelessness, whatever. Like, this is not a feeling of belonging. This is a feeling of being exiled and also watched, right? So we're going to exile you, and then we're going to pay attention and like study everything that you do as you stumble around on your own. Now, that as a base, and then over the top of it is the six of wands. And the six of wands is recognition coming from all around. Now, this basically looks like finding this recognition is kind of the deal. It's like being taken away from the place where you are used to this type of energy, kind of being exiled, and then finding um, the recognition, or finding the people who recognize your truth. And what happens in the six, so the person goes into the cocoon, they do all the work on themselves, right? And they come out this more powerful, beautiful butterfly figure. And here's all the people that are like, wow, good job. Now, let's just see what happens on either side of this. Okay. Well, here's our first court card. Oh, I got a frog in my throat here. What's a frog doing in there? I should quit swallowing frogs. Now, leading up to this, Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is like letting go of old emotional crap and stuff that maybe you've been carrying with you for a while. And the Eight of Cups is the moment when she's like, fuck that, I'm not dealing with this anymore. So it is kind of lightening the emotional load that way. And as that happens, letting go of all of this junk, which you can imagine someone in this position might be going through some stuff like that. Now, then there is the recognition. and the success, the bursting forth from the cocoon. And then it leads to the King of Swords. And the King of Swords I always describe as being Jean-Luc Picard. But this is the King of Swords makes the right decision all the time because they're so logical and smart, and they're so good at reasoning, and they don't allow themselves to be emotionally baited, right? And part of that would be letting go of the emotions here. So eventually, this leads to a King of Swords. This is a commander. This is really being able to not just sort of handle your shit, but almost being able to direct the energy and like command it that way. Okay. So, where do we go from here? Now, I just want to look and see if this is the purpose, right? Is this the purpose? Well, actually, let's look here. Why did this happen, right? What is the reason that the spirit ended up here in another fucking galaxy, right? What is the reason that the spirit ended up here to begin with? Oh, all right. So a Six of Cups. This is troubling. Um, this card shows up a lot in these things, and I see it so much in so many different cases that it's kind of hard to translate at this point. But here we have the old story being told. This is the story of good versus evil. And we've got the holy person and we've got the devil. Now, normally when I'm reading this, I would say to someone who came to me for a reading and got the six, I would say, remember that nothing in the world is this simple. So it's how our memories and time and emotions warp things to sort of cartoonish versions of what they were. But the devil as an image shows up so much in these readings as being one of the aliens, you know. We're probably looking at that sort of thing. And what I'm feeling out of this card is that it's like a cycle. It's an old story and it's being told again. This might just be part of the deal with the galactic clock, you know, like at this, when the clock strikes whatever the fuck, then you end up getting ejected, you know, out of the galaxy and you end up in some other fucking place. And then we're going to watch you while you figure this stuff out. This, I guess, could be some form of data collection. You know, it's like, well, let's see what happens when we put one of us over there and interact with that place. An old story being told. As I look deeper into the image, the thing that's really coming out is the robe that the devil is wearing with this moon on it. I don't exactly know what that means. This might be some sort of ritual thing, but uh, oh, I guess if you feel this within you, then maybe this means something to you, and maybe it doesn't. I don't know, but that's what to me is really sticking out is the specific robe that the devil is wearing in this picture. Okay. Now, one of the questions that I like to ask in these cases, if once a person goes through this and they're able to sort of command their energy in that way, do they get to go home? Or do they end up staying here, like manifesting here repeatedly? So, do the Andromedan Ray spirits get to go home after they've completed whatever it is that they do here? Huh. So we get a Nine of Pentacles and a Two of Wands. So the nine, I mean, if it was only one card and this was the card that came up, I would say probably yes, because this is kind of upward mobility, but the nine of cards, or the nine of cards, yeah, the nine of pentacles, it's a very positive card, and it basically shows having the resources to kind of do whatever the fuck you want. um, so if this was the card alone, then I would say you would at least have the resources to go home if you chose to do so. Now, here, combined with the Two of Wands, this shows planting, and this might be like digging in. So, here, maybe this means you would get to choose the new root planet or system or whatever. You would have the resources to go wherever you wanted, and then you would be able to sort of dig in and plant there. I mean, truly, that makes sense here because this is someone who's been exiled. They don't have a home. Like, they're kind of looking for a new home. And this would show being able to have the resources to create a new home kind of wherever you would want to do that. Now, let's just see if something went wrong in the source planet, right? And the way I understand this is a ray of light. Now, let's say that you were on a planet and your fucking sun exploded. It went nova, right? It would wipe out all the planets. But that light is probably still around in the universe somewhere, you know? So maybe that is the ray of light that they're talking about. It's the light that's hitting Earth now from a planet that fucking exploded 4,000 years ago. Um, let's just see if that's the deal. If something went wrong in the source, you know. Uh, we do have two that want to come out. So, Seven of Wands, Five of Cups. Now, this is about coming out of a restriction. This wouldn't necessarily say to me that the home source planet or whatever the fuck had been destroyed, but it looks like it was blocked uh, somehow. And here, when we look back into the restrictive forest, um, Five of Cups, this is like emotional energy breaking down, maybe some things that have been too close for too long. And so it could be a case where the energy was like stagnant for some reason. And then as it shot away from the place that it was just going through this and this sort of stagnation thing, then as it comes out, it's not an easy path. Now, you wouldn't figure that an intergalactic path would be an easy path, you know? This forest could be the space in between the galaxies, right? And I don't exactly know how, if spirits are even affected by that stuff, but it seems like one galaxy to another, there would be something. You know, there would be some sort of thing that you would have to pass through in the space in between galaxies. And that might be what we're looking at here. But it doesn't look like the home world exploded, I wouldn't say. Okay, now let's just see. Let's go to identifying markers. Um, is there anything that would show, and I'm still sure that this stuff shows up on the palms, and I think that's true about every single one of these. All of the star seeds, I need to collect enough data to like find out the palm lines, you know. But I am very certain that all of this stuff could be identified through palm lines. But let's just see what the cards say if there's any sort of identifying mark for these folks. Huh. The Hierophant. What the hell are we looking at here? I mean, maybe they're pigeon-toed, you know, what we got with the feet here. Um, I guess there's not really anything specific that's sticking out to me in this card. And this might be, I mean, I'm pretty much going to leave this open. If you feel like you are one of these people, let me know if there's anything in this card that's like, I mean, of course it's whatever, you know. Of course it's like the pointy chin or something, you know. If you feel like you see something in here that I'm not seeing, feel free to let me know. I am truly not seeing it though. So this could be either a no, that there are no specific identifying marks, or it's something in here that I'm not seeing, unless it's you're pigeon-toed, you know. All right. Now, if one of these star seeds wants to connect with their people or their source code, you know, if they're feeling a little homesick or they want to unlock what that means within them. So the question is, how do you go about doing that? And let's see what we got. Huh. The reversed world. Hmm. I mean, when I looked at this initially, what I felt like was look at the world upside down. I don't exactly know what that means, but this would happen on an individual and spiritual basis. So currently, what I'm getting out of this is try to look at the world upside down. You know, like one of my friends not too long ago had this weird obsession with opposite day, you know, and this would be, I guess, opposite day. But maybe it's just try to look at the world from a different perspective. Now, the world itself is a graduation, right? And it's like standing at the portal. And as she goes through the portal, she is about to essentially start a new life because there has been some sort of completion. And she's about to start a new journey. But first, she has to realize how much stronger she is and wiser she is than when she started this journey, sort of chill for a little bit and kind of be like, wow, I all of that stuff happened and this is what it meant or whatever. Um, when this thing is upside down, if I'm reading it that way, then this is being at the end of a certain chapter of your life without necessarily letting it end. I don't know specifically how that applies. And as I'm looking at the card a little deeper, what I'm seeing is the Ouroboros, the snake that's eating its own tail. So maybe this symbol would mean something as well. But my answer for the world is still going to be try to look at the world upside down. I guess maybe a person from this galaxy would see a portal this way, and a person from a different galaxy would not see it oriented the same way. Maybe there's something about just literally this thing being reversed. It's like as we try to do these things in like the spiritual community, it's like, oh, you've got to do this and this and this. Maybe it doesn't work that way for these people, and it's kind of like reversed. And that would make sense if they were not from our galaxy. You know, it would work a different way. Okay. I'm trying to think of other ways to look at this. I guess my last question here: how many different groups of beings are we talking about? Because if you're talking about a freaking galaxy, that's a shitload, right? But I'm talking about the Andromeda Ray specifically. So is this only one group of beings, or is this a fucking shitload? of groups of beings. There's 3 cards that actually want to come out, so the shortest answer is going to be at least 3. They're all swords cards. Oh my god. Well, 5 of swords, reversed 4 of swords, and 7 of swords. All of these being swords cards, so there's a lot of like mental energy happening here. But my short version of the answer of this is there's probably a bunch. Just the fact that they're all swords cards, also King of Swords there too. I mean, they would be related, but I think there's a bunch of different groups, at least 3. So maybe some different families within sort of a really wide family of beings. Try to explain all humans in in one sentence, and that ain't gonna work. So that's what we get here. If you see stuff in the cards that I'm not seeing, feel free to let me know. If you have other questions about how to look at this, also feel free to let me know that, and any other requests for different readings. You can leave that in the comments. That's what we get for now, and peace.